there's a camera here. Cameras
Hi,
are
Malika.
Pretty girl. Pretty girl. She says no. We're not going to play that game. We're hoping she comes back because she was sitting right over. Cassie says, hello, everyone. Are we doing a cute night today? Because I'm very cute. So she was sitting there for a real long time until there's two people. We figured out we got on this helicopter route for, I think, Life Flight. Definitely Life Flight. And it goes right over us every time. So all day long this has been happening lately. Okay.
She's over there just hanging out.
What's up, bitty girl?
All right, so before we do any questions, we have to start with the cliffhanger that we gave everybody last week with the two lions running down the highway.
Oh, that's funny. I forgot all about
So
that.
you had started by saying that you'd fed that day.
Fed that day, fed all the cats that day, and the sheriff's department called, late. I mean, much after dark. Don't remember exactly the time, but it was near midnight, I imagine. And went to the house, and I get a call from the sheriff's department. We have just had several witnesses call and say they saw two adult male lions running down the road. That was what I heard. Running down 2123, which 2123, if you're not from around here, our road is maybe a quarter of a mile total long, maybe that long. But the road that intersects it on the other side of the field past us is 2123. So 2123 being very close to care, lions running loose. And of course, I said, okay, man, this dispatch, and they have units heading to the scene. There's a lot of, so it sounded very credible at the moment. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what happened? I mean, there's no way. And I told her, I said, hold on, let me go check. Well, you know what? I'm going to backtrack a little bit, because in the beginning, I don't think that she said it was two lions. She said that they were two big cats running down 2123. So I said, okay, I'm going to run out and check. And she goes, I'll just stay on the line with you as you check the animals. I said, okay. And so I'm running out here with a flashlight, jumped out of bed in my pajamas, and I hear the sirens and the lights and the things, like a quarter of a mile from here, all coming. And I had my flashlight, and I'm running by Noelle, catching her eyes. I'm like, okay, good girl, Noe. And then next, Selena. And I said, okay, Selena's in. And then she goes, how far do we have to go? I said, you have a long way to go. And then when you're talking about people seeing a lion, you can't even, I didn't even miss Max and Mia, because it could be Max and Mia's and people would say, oh, there's a lion. Some people don't know the difference. So I had to check every single one. So this whole process was taking a really long time, for me to go around in the dark and find everyone. And so I got towards the lower compound, and she said, okay, I just want to confirm that this is two male lions. They said they had manes, so really big male lions. And I said, well, that makes a big difference if it's a big male lion. I only have two of those, and they live together. And then I'm thinking, oh my gosh, we fed, and I know I shut that gate. Something happened. Maybe the fence fell down. What if somebody let them out? Blah, like freaking out. So I'm running down there, and I said, okay, well, I'm going to head right there. I didn't even check. At that time was Layla and that whole area over there. So I hurried up, and I ran down to Zub and Ra, and I said, okay, they're in. Now the lions are in, so it's not lions. And then all of a sudden, you start hearing helicopters. They have helicopters flying over now, trying to find these two male lions. And I've got flashlights. I'm looking everywhere. Nothing. So at the very end, I said, every single animal that we have here is accounted for. And she said, I just got word from the deputy on the scene. And I said, what was that? And he goes, it was two dogs.
I think they were like golden retrievers.
They said golden retrievers,
Yeah.
but I know they have two Great Pyrenees next door. They have 2 Great Pyrenees next door, and they thought the 2 Great Pyrenees running through the pasture. It was not on the road. They said it was on the road, but it was running across the pasture. It was the stinking Great Pyrenees. It was not. So, you think I slept it off? My adrenaline was so high, thinking, "Oh my God, Sue and Roar are out there, and they're going to get killed because somebody's going to shoot them, and who let them out?" And and then did I let them out? I know I'm getting senile, but I know we locked the gate. We always do everything together, so it's. The chances of 2 people missing a lock would be highly unlikely. So, yeah. So that was the story of the Zub and Ra running down 2123. Which ended up being 2 golden retrievers, which were actually Great Pyrenees Siamado. So that's my story.
Yep.
I've got a ton of those. The sheriff, after we first moved here, I had the sheriff pull in the driveway. There were 6 deputy cars, and I'm like, the lights are going off, and this is 2:00 in the morning, which tells you something right there. When the bar closes in a Friday night. This was always on a Friday night, and they cocked their window that far. "Hello, I have understanding that you have a tiger loose. There's somebody stopped and said that they saw a tiger, and they had jumped on the hood of their car as they were driving by your facility." I'll check them off, but they never got out of their cars and never opened their window farther than that. I thought it was hilarious. So anyway, I think I've told you this before, but after the probably 20th time that happened on a Friday or Saturday night at 2 a.m., then I finally gave them a diagram of the facility, and I said, "Here, from now on, you check it. I'm not doing this anymore," because I do it every Friday or Saturday night as soon as the bars close. So let's just put an end to this. So yeah, it was after probably 2 years of having to go out there at least once or twice a month because somebody saw a tiger running down the street. But it's funny, after I handed them the diagram of the facility and told them to check themselves, they never called again. I mean, until many years after, for the 2 lions running down the road. They were golden retrievers.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yep. Fun times.
Okay, well, let's answer some questions.
Okie dokie.
All right, this question is from Mel. Mel wants to know...
Hi, Mel, by the way.
How do you go about introducing new interns and volunteers to the cats, especially cats that have been traditionally upset by strangers?
Oh, they don't really get introduced for quite a while. They have to do a lot of work and be around them every day before the cats really get even introduced to them. They will water the cats every single day for probably a month before, and so the cats will see them multiple times a day around their enclosure and understand that they're not threatening before that there's any true, them able to really talk to them. I mean, they talk to them, but it has to be very non-threatening. So it's a really slow process. And interns, they put in so many hours so quick, so they get moved up really fast to, have more of a relationship with the animals, talking to them and maybe sitting with them, reading books to them. Usually the animals, we always call it the big 3. So they get to pick 3 cats during their internship to talk to or have more of a personal relationship with during their time here. And sometimes I pick them, and it could be an older animal that may be needing extra attention, or possibly an animal that has aggressive tendencies with some people. I believe it was Jameson. We put him on Milo, I believe, because I never put anybody on Milo. But I think we did put him on Milo because Milo really,
just a little bit. The sun's right in my face.
Milo really liked Jameson quite a bit. And when we have men, we try to introduce them more to a cat that might have trouble with men. That way it helps desensitize them. Now, don't get me wrong, if the cat's attacking the fence and very aggressive, we wouldn't let that continue with anybody, male, female, it doesn't matter what it is. But to help with trust issues. Sometimes it's good to expose them to people that they would in general not like. But most of the time, the big three are animals like geriatric ones that are older. But the process is very slow, especially with volunteers that, may come out once a week. The process is a lot longer. It sometimes takes years before they have the opportunity to sit and talk, interact, read, sing, play a musical instrument. I mean, we have people that play musical instruments, all kinds of stuff, music. Just talk to them. But there has to be a certain safety period for both the people to understand what the animals are all about, and for the animals to understand what the person is all about. And of course, volunteers and interns, they're not out here by themselves anyway. There's always other people within hearing distance anyway to make sure everybody's okay. But yeah, it's just a slow process. And every cat's different, so they're going to need different processes. Like Noelle, she needs no process at all. You just have to have a voice and be able to talk to her, and you'll be her best friend. And then Melita, she's a little bit more, and Malika. Malika's difficult too. She's beautiful, but she's more difficult. She just lay right there.
Mm-hmm.
She says, I'm not going to lay
She's
over
not
there.
difficult. She's just aloof. She
is very aloof. She is. She's a prima donna. So, do you think I answered the question?
Yes.
All right, good.
Yeah. Okay, so next question. This is from Vicky.
Hi, Vicky.
Vicky would like to know, how do you tell the kids apart?
If you had a square that was blue and a square that was red and a square that was yellow and a square that was white, you could tell them apart. I could tell them apart just the same. They look very, very different to me. Now, how do I tell them apart? Those four look so different, all four of them to me. Kona's very simple. He's got the crossity eyes. Kel's a little girl. Leon's perfect. And Khan's just such a man's man. So Idris Khan, he's a man's man. So I don't even know. How do you tell them apart? Jamie could probably do it. I just think that I think they look so different. I don't even know how I tell them apart.
Yeah, for me, I mean, Cal and Kona, I don't ever mistake them for the other two. Leon and Idris, if I do not see them full on.
Well, that's true too, because they're both so big.
I am not always sure which one's which, but if I catch a full glimpse of their face, I can tell the difference. Khan has a little bit more, to me, intricate markings on his face.
He's more dark, I think, in the face. He also has a lot more stripes, and Leon his face is very bold. Mm-hmm. He kind of reminds me of Luca. He's got that very bold and bright face, and Idris Khan is more like Jakey, a lot more detail to his face. Mm-hmm. Not body, but face.
Yeah, and for me, I usually look at the markings right directly above their eyes. When I'm first learning how to identify cats, that's where I look. Mm-hmm. Kona, if you can't tell from his cross eyes, he's got, and I usually look at the left eye.
I always look at the left eye.
Right.
I must have told you that one time, because that's almost always above their left eye. The markings are always different above their left eye. All of them.
Yep. Yeah. So Kona's got a really straight, just like slash up on that marking above his eye. Kel's got really tiny.
But Khan's is like this. Khan has the 3.
Mm-hmm. And then Kona has a boomerang. Or not Kona. Leon has a boomerang.
Yeah, Leon has a boomerang, kind of like Luca. That's why I said he's kind of bold.
So, that's how. But again, now, after a while, after you learn to recognize them and have been recognizing them for a long time,
every day since they were here,
then it's like you don't even look at their face markings anymore. You just they just start looking, like Heidi said, they start looking so incredibly different that there's just
different. People can bring a picture of a tiger that they took out here on a tour 15 years ago and say, who is this? It was a young cat, and I'm like, oh, that's Selena, or oh yeah, that's Easy, that's Sydney, or that's Rasa, and they're like, how can you do that? I'm like, to me, they all look very different.
It took me years to get to that point. But I did get to that point where now,
taking care of them from the time that a lot of them were very young, and their whole life, like Leon Kahn, Kellen. I mean, and the babies, Jakey, JP, and Luca. Selena, I got her when she was a year old. Nye and Shanti, they were 2 when we got them, but they look so different. There is no telling them apart.
Yeah.
And Ren is very unique. She looks different from any tiger that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I think JP, Jakey, and Luca look so different.
Yeah.
You could put a male lion in that enclosure, and I'd say, oh yeah, they look that much different all 4, because they just look very different. Yeah, I know it's hard, but because I don't look at them that way, when you're around them every day, you just don't. You don't even know how to tell someone, like, oh yeah, this and this.
Well, it's like if people had twin babies,
Exactly.
and you just, or
like
if they had 2 black dogs, you just know.
It's like when people say that Dustin and Dakota look alike. My 2 boys, they
do not look alike. I mean, they do. You can tell they're related, but they don't.
Even funnier is when people comment on pictures of Dustin and Dakota online that looks just like their dad. Because, of course, Derek adopted the children, so, yeah, just kind of funny. It's just like their dad. I'm like, not in the slightest bit.
But, yeah, it's, I mean, it's been I've been around most of these cats for so long that I don't even have a problem anymore. But during the first, with some of them, I mean, talking about old cats, Jezebel and Ellie, it took me years.
They look so different.
Years to be able to tell them apart.
So different. Jezebel.
They were hard to tell apart.
Jezebel was small and dark and intricate. I mean, and Ellie was much bigger than she was and light colored. Now, if I went back and showed you the 2 of them, you would be like,
I mean, I eventually got it, but for years. And what's even wilder? For the first, it didn't take me nearly as long, but for the first probably couple years, and this blows my mind, because now I'm like, they look not a lick alike.
Right.
Melita and Fire, I had a hard time with.
That's crazy.
Which is crazy, because now,
well, I'm going to tell you something.
There's nothing about them that looks the same.
I had a horrible time with Nadal and Diwali. Because I didn't have them when they were little. I didn't get them until later. And I could tell Nye and Shanti apart really easily, but Nadal and Diwali, to me, they didn't look that different. They were about the same size, so size was out. They're about the same color, so the color was out. So I really had to analyze the marking. And then Derek kept on saying this Nike swish and this Nadal Nike swish. And I'm like,
that's Luca. Luca has the Nike swish.
Well, he said there was an N on Nadal's face or something.
I don't know.
No, that's this Nike swish. Yeah, I see what he's saying there. But he said there's an N for Nadal on his face or his forehead. I don't know. And I'm like, I do not see that at all. And I would get it mixed up. But now I just see that Nadal has that one chubby marking just over. That's just the
and
one.
Diwali has a spiky one.
Yeah, a spiky one.
So yeah, I mean, my suggestion, if you're not sure, look at our pictures that we
go
post.
on our website.
Pick one spot, like pick a spot on their face, and use that spot every time you see a cat.
Yep.
To look at the difference in that spot.
Yep. You have that. You put all the tigers on that one page. Remember, for National Tiger Day or whatever that was, or International Tiger, and get that. And that's a great way to see if you could tell them apart. Because when you posted that, I was like, oh, let me see. Like I got it out, and I'm like,
yeah.
And I could go right through them, and I was pretty good. Except I forget who I got to, and I'm like, who is that? And I'm like, and it was just really weird. I couldn't tell who it was. And then it was like, oh my gosh, it's like forgetting your own kid. And I was like, oh. I think it might have been Sydney or somebody where I was like, oh my gosh, of course it's Sydney, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's,
Yeah. Or even if you go to our website and you go to Meet the Animals and then go to tigers,
tigers, yeah.
it has all of them, like a little square photo of them and their name underneath. And that's a great place to kind of look at them and their names and
Right.
see the differences in their
differences,
faces.
Yep. Yeah, all of them look different.
For sure. All right. Last question. This is from Melissa Westfall.
Hi, Melissa.
What do you do with the fiber that's sheared from Yolo and Dahlia? Have you ever thought about getting it spun?
We kept it for a long time and it sat in the barn, and then I finally threw it away. We had like 4 bags of it, and then it was just in there for so long, getting smelly, we didn't do it. Yes, but I have thought about it, and that's why we put it in bags. But then we just had nobody to give it to. So if you let us know, then we can pack it up and put it in a box and send it to you.
Yep.
If you want to spin it for us. I guess Yolo's a special spinning fur. And
Yeah, she's a Surrey llama. They're very silky, soft fur. And she is very soft. I have actually gotten to touch her a few times when she's been
sheared,
haltered and tied up.
restrained.
But the funny thing is that when she is
When she
tied
has her
up, she's
halter on?
so calm and she's just like,
Remember, you
this
walked
is
her around
nice.
the yard on it with her halter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was hugging on her and giving her kisses, and she's just like, I'm fine.
I'm okay. It was so weird because I'm like, is anybody videotaping this? Because this is.
Yeah, I gave her kisses and everything. She was fine, but
think
she's very soft.
I think I was working on Dahlia at the time, and I couldn't leave Jen's because poor Jen's was getting splattered by Dahlia's spit.
I have that on video. I think that was our intern Grace.
Oh, Grace was sharing.
She was
Dahlia.
working with Jens to shear Dahlia, and poor Jens, he was just from his chest
His whole arm,
all the
his
way down his
shoulder.
arms
Oh,
were
gosh.
just solid green.
Like this. It was
so
like this.
nasty.
It was so gross, and he just wipe it off his face and just keep on shearing. And I'm like, oh, you are such a bigger man than I am.
Yeah, putting Dahlia in a halter doesn't.
It doesn't work, and because she just wants to do the pass out thing.
She's a mess.
And you know, we told Jens we were going to try to build something this year, so she wouldn't pass out. We were going to build her a little chute where we can slide boards or something underneath it, so when her legs gave out, she wouldn't fall to the ground.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I just had this idea. Do you remember I gave you these things? My dad had gotten them for, he had his dog had to have like knee surgery.
Right.
And there are these material things that you put under the chest and belly,
They're
and it
mesh.
has the handles
Yes.
on the sides so
Yes.
you can lift them up.
Yes.
What if we made a really big one of those with like 2 wide material straps? Did something on the roof of their
Well, that's what we're
a
talking
pulley
about,
system
kinda,
where you could put her in there, put the straps under her belly, and actually
lift her up.
hoist her up. So
The
then
only
you could
thing-
get her toes too without having to
Well, that's what we
put
were
her down on
talking
the
about because
ground.
that's one of the hardest things is getting her toes without her falling down and passing out. It's a lot of distress for her to get sheared. The only thing that I'm worried about is with all of her weight, like a strap. I don't know what that would do to her circulatory system. So I was thinking more of a mesh that went all the way over her chest, but then you couldn't shear her. So we had talked about a couple of different things, but
You could do everywhere else though, and maybe just leave that spot and then quickly,
let him bite the bullet on that one.
yeah.
But she does. Remember, she hangs herself from the fence and passes out. Yeah, she is the most drama llama.
Oh my gosh.
Dahlia, the drama llama.
She is a drama llama.
Yes.
I mean, you would think this animal has like had, I don't know, like just the most traumatic experiences.
Oh, I know. But she's just a mess. But Yeah, we could still put something together. I've talked about it a lot. Dustin and I both have talked about it. Is drilling holes in those 4x4, are they 4x4 or 6x6? The beams that go up, just drilling holes in them and then just running some smaller bars through it, just to have a corral instead of having to bring those panels up and do a corral each time. But if we could do something in the corner where we could keep her elevated up, I just don't know how to do it. I don't know about the straps. The straps might work, like you said. They make those for cows.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people use those on cows whenever they get down after they give birth. They can't get them back up. Yeah, we could borrow them. I have plenty of friends around here that have them.
Could work. She could just hang there.
Oh, she would be so perplexed. Her head would probably be hanging to the ground. Oh. This is humiliating. Oh, it would be so nice to be able to like shave her whole tail.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, what was the question? It wasn't about Dahlia though, was it?
No, it was about their hair.
Oh, right. It is about Dahlia.
Yeah.
We did stay on subject, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's anybody else want to know about? We had a good board meeting yesterday.
We did have a good board
We had a
meeting.
good board meeting yesterday. Had a lot of good talks. Made some progress on how to reopen and how to, the process of where to go from here. As long as our numbers keep going where they're going, which is down, it'll be good. As long as we keep the triple variant, which is now, they said a triple variant now, I think in somewhere, I don't know. But the double variant they just found in Texas, by the way, just yesterday. So, we'll see how it works and how it affects the cats. That's going to be a biggie. But I think we're going to have to just try to open, limited, slowly, and start allowing people to come back and see what they love so much. Open the suites back up. Suite probably being open back up will be for people that are vaccinated only, though. Just because we have to start somewhere. And we realize that just because somebody's vaccinated does not mean that they still can't carry the virus. And we do realize all those things. But like I said, we have to start somewhere. We can't stay closed forever. It's just, it's not good for the cats. It's not good for us. It's not good for the bank account. We want to build Selena. Oh, by the way, we had one of our very wonderful donors, Laura, come up with a really nice idea. Did we talk about Selena's thing, or okay? Because I talked it on Derek's Patreon. We talked about it last time, but we talked about building this area behind Selena for Selena. But Laura had the idea of going across and maybe having it where it connects to Noelle's. But then I started thinking even more. I thought that was such a great idea to have it connect to Naya and Shanti's also. And then move the babies who are getting quite old that probably shouldn't have those high platforms anymore over there. And then they can have heat and air. So you're talking about the 3 babies, which are JP, Jakey, and Luca, would have access to, what do we call it? A special care center, or a special care unit, the SCU, the special care unit. So we'll have special care units for the 3 boys, Selena and Noelle, which would be phenomenal all in one house. Yes, the expense is going to be quite, so we may have to do a little fundraiser for that. But I really, Laura follows us right on this, so thanks, Laura. That was a great idea. I appreciated that very much, and I started working last night in the middle of the night, crunching numbers and trying to figure out ways to actually build this thing. So we figured out we need to do the round pen because now Malika's in there. We're going to try to shoot some insulation, and it already has an air conditioner and it's pretty enclosed, so it shouldn't be too bad for her. But then I think we'll have 12 special care units then, correct?
He was 12 or 13.
12, 13, yeah. Because we have 2 in the vet center, ravens. So having 12 units, going from just the vet center 5 years ago to, well, the lemurs have always had theirs,
Yeah.
but they don't count. They're not tigers. Just joking. They count very much. We
Well,
don't.
Godzilla has his.
Oh, we forgot. That's 13.
Yeah,
He doesn't have air conditioning though,
that's true.
but he has heat. Yeah, but so we have 13 climate control environments for the cats, and you know, I think they following us for the last, as long as maybe some of you have, you've seen how we were going from building a big vet clinic to have these specialty areas where cats that are sick or need the attention can go, and we moved away from that to providing these special care units for the animals so they can have it all the time, not just when they're sick. And honestly, the cost is going to be much less to do the individual units than a big building. So I'm pretty excited about it because it gives them, so we're talking 13 animals. We couldn't put 13 animals in any vet clinic. You'd have to build you'd have to spend millions in building a vet clinic. And then you have to take them out of there. Look how pretty Celia looks. Oh, love her. Oh, hi, pretty girl. She's coming.
She's looking good.
She is amazing. She looks so
She
fantastic.
looks like she's getting around a little bit better than she was.
I think she had a couple bad weeks because of the weather.
Yeah.
Yeah, the weather
Super
just
cold.
got her a little bit yucked out. She probably missed a mantle or two, spitting them out like Raven spits hers out every day. Every day she spits them out,
You know, you can poke a hole in them and just,
squeeze them. Then she won't eat her food.
oh,
Yeah.
they stink
Yes, I know they stink.
like nobody's business.
Oh, my hair is having a meltdown. Oopsie. I fell apart on camera.
All right, well, we are running
Over.
super long.
Okay, so anyway, have a good week. And we'll see you soon. Soonish. Next week.
Yeah.
Hopefully with more good news, like that we won the Mega Millions or something.
That'd be nice.
Yay! And then cameras for everyone, and you can watch everybody every day.
Yeah. All right, thank you guys.
Bye.